Seconds and minutes count when there's an active shooter in a school.
23 years after Columbine, the fear of an active shooter inside a school is more intense than ever. What was once unheard of has now been repeated over and over. Sandy Hook, Parkland, Uvalde, just three of a much longer list. School security expert Kenneth Trump, no relation to the former president, has written 3 books on the subject. He says drills are an important piece of preparing for the unthinkable.
Systemic failures often occur due to failures of human factors, not hardware, equipment, and technology. And that's where the drills come into play.
But he says certain types of drills are more effective than others. And there is a danger, he says, of causing more harm than good.
There's mounting evidence saying that over-the-top drills, overly dramatic drills, risk creating more harm, inducing more trauma and anxiety in children who may come to school already with anxiety.
Even more, Mr. Trump says drills that are over the top and try to simulate active shooter scenarios don't work.
The word we use is sensorial, like noises, movement, maybe actors involved, SWAT teams. There have been schools that have shot off blanks in hallways. In general, we discourage those types of armed assailant drills.
When psychology professor Scott Watuszewski says we, he means the National Association of School Psychologists, where he co-chairs the Committee on School Safety and Crises.
There are examples of unannounced school shooter drills where we've got kids who are thinking it's real, texting parents saying, "I love you. I hope I see you again." That's an example of part of that highly sensorial that's not necessary to build that muscle memory. We don't have to scare people to get ready for things like this.
Both Watuszewski and Trump recommend schools focus on basic lockdown drills, teaching staff to quickly lock doors, turn off lights, keep everyone quiet, and keep the drill age appropriate.
There's some research that suggests anxiety does not go up in kids when we do that, and they do report feeling a little bit better. They feel more prepared for a variety of things.
Oklahoma schools are required to conduct at least 4 security drills a year. The Oklahoma School Security Institute recommends that local law enforcement is incorporated into these drills. But the specifics are up to each district, and getting the details on those specifics, I found, is not easy. I reached out to multiple school districts to ask about their drills. Some did not respond, and the ones that did said that they don't like to discuss specifics publicly, citing security reasons.
And so we want to give them the confidence that if in case something does actually happen, that we can handle it, that they are actually safe in our schools.
Waylon Cubitt is the new director of security at the largest school district in the state. In a news conference, he spoke about Oklahoma City Public Schools finding the spot where kids are taught to handle an emergency, but not be traumatized in the process.
We don't want to be so paranoid about the events that happen across our country and in Texas at Uvalde that we are scaring our kids. We want to make sure they're prepared, which is why all these drills are for, not scared.
And while Kenneth Trump says basic lockdown drills are best, he would like to see some schools do more to prepare students to lock down in different scenarios.
Start out with a fundamental lockdown during class time. Do one during lunch period, or at least walk kids through that so they know what to do. Do one perhaps during class change, a different context, so the kids could learn how to make decisions on their feet, and that adults know how to think quickly as well.
The National Association of School Psychologists just teamed up with the National Association of School Resource Officers to put together a list of things to do and things not to do. They say to focus on lockdown and evacuation drills that are, again, non-sensorial, to remind staff to always project composure, especially with young children around, to allow students and staff with the history of trauma in their lives to opt out of these drills and to always announce them in advance. Now, after their news conference, I took some of these specific questions to OKCPS, but have yet to receive an answer on them. And if you have questions about the drills at your kids' schools, as a parent, you can absolutely reach out to them and ask.